What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Small Biz. In today's video, at 10:26 in the AM outside of Atlanta, Georgia, where we just bought 5 million shares of the Crkn between 096 and 077. Last trade 00989. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly what was said in a phone call yesterday with the CEO of Crkn and why it got so ugly that the last 30 seconds had something I'd never heard before from a CEO. All that and more coming right up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, they just flushed the stops. I'm making a bet right now. We just bought another 5 million shares or thereabouts, 446 people. God bless each and every one. Thousands more, I hope. Caught the flush of the stops. Look, the shorts, the paper hands are going to give way. I will not be surprised if this closes 10 1/4 to a half. If it does, it's insanely bullish. And before I go any further, I'm a fucking bull in this stock. I've been buying it all the way down from $1.50 in the last year to 0.0414. We had half our stock, over 10 million shares, under a nickel. And I told the entire fucking world for months, hey, buy some Crkn. Do whatever you can to buy Crkn under a nickel. For 3 months, I told you that. And then we had the 12 bagger to 60. And I put out on X and YouTube to 100,000 people, hey, whether you made 5, 7, or 10X on the Crkn, now might be a good time to take some profits. With a photo at 58.5. No. Did I sell it there? Fuck no. Did I know it was going to be $0.015 from the all-time high or the near-term high? No. But I did sell a third of our stock, over 40 cents a share, and not one fucking share, not one motherfucking share was let go cheaper than it is right now at, what is that, 0991. I need you to do me a favor. Thumbs up or down, doesn't matter. We need help with the reach. This is going to be an insanely controversial video. I'm about to say what Doug said at the end of the call, and he might be furious with me. I could care fucking less. It needs to be said. And as Charlie Brown said all night long and again this morning, the truth shall set you free. So if you want to know why the float went from 51 million to 281 million, you want to know what he said to me not once, not twice, but 3 times before I fucking hung up on him? Then give me a thumbs up or down. Share it everywhere. Tell me I'm full of shit. If you're one of the 400 plus inside of the Discord, say something. Tell them how we're stacking cash to the motherfucking ceiling. Tell them how in the last 100 trades we've had 1 loss. So when you hear me talk about a 99% win rate, it's true. Go into the new trades channel, scroll up about 20 miles. I don't know why it is, but it fucking is. I consider it to be through the grace of God. I'm herding cats. It's the hardest motherfucking thing I've ever had to do, in addition to buy this stock and hold 400 and some odd people in it and tell them to buy more at 096 and change, last trade 1001. Maybe that was the low, but maybe it wasn't. And I'm going to give you the good, bad, and the motherfucking ugly. So one more time, up, down, comment, share. Yesterday, I reached out to Jason and IRR by email. We've never had the pleasure of talking on the phone. I respect his job. It ain't easy. He's had to deal with a mountain of bullshit, as has Doug for the last year plus. And full disclosure, I light him up by email every 2 or 3 days. And this has been going on for a year. So we're talking about dozens of emails that have a very nasty tone in most cases. But I will say this about Doug, and I've said it before. He never hides under the fucking desk. He always answers on the second or third phone call. And when I called him yesterday, I knew within the first second or two, it was going to be World War fucking III. But there is a bullish and a fucking bearish side to the call. So please don't go anywhere. But once again, we are long 33 million shares. So out of 281 million, we collectively own 12% or thereabouts of the company. Last trade 10,006. We're just after 10:30 or somewhere like that. My eyes are not that good and they look bloodshot. It's very nasty with the pollen here in Atlanta. So we're bullish. We own 33 million shares. We told you to buy the stock under a nickel. We had over 10, total of 20 million under a nickel. We sold it at an average price of 28 to 30. Third of it over 40 cents a share. Yeah, I wish I would have held on for another hour or two, and I probably could have blown it out, all of it, in the mid to high 30s, but that's not how the world works. Stocks have gravity. When you're up 12x, like some of you bags are, and you didn't sell a fucking share, and you want to blame me because it came all the way down? No, the reason why it came down is we just had an exercise of the preferred into common. That's how it went from 51 million shares to now 281 million. So when I made the call yesterday and I knew it was going to be nasty as a motherfucker, I said as my first default question, help me understand how we went from 51 to 281 million preferred. Short, terse, nasty as possibly can be. I knew it was about to go way off the rails. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, we just did a proxy. We had a preferred. I said, you mean the one that you repriced under a nickel? And as you can imagine, that pissed him off. That really pissed him off. There was a Series C preferred. And I'm going to keep it simple, stupid, at much higher prices. These are insiders, accredited investors, etc. And I'm certain, perhaps one of the reasons why Doug was in a nasty motherfucking mood, and don't go anywhere, you're not going to believe what he said to me 3 fucking times in the last 30 seconds, is he's under enormous pressure. He may have been threatened to get sued, and he had to reprice it way down under a nickel. Is that illegal? No, because the stock spent a lot of time there before it started ramping to 60 cents a share. So he told me, and this is totally normal, some of them converted, some of them didn't, some probably sold, some of them didn't. But if you're wondering why it's hard to move the needle now, we've got 5 times plus the amount of stock for sale or available in the float. A small part of it, I forget the exact word, was the drawdown on the ELOC. I went into the call thinking they drew down on the 200 million shares, which is the max allot, on the ELOC, the equipment line of credit. I thought that would have been somewhat bullish in that they would have $10 million or thereabouts to fund operations for 12 to 18 months, but that was not the case. That was some fat cats getting a sweetheart deal on a reconversion, on a change in the price. I think it was 0486 or something along the lines. And yeah, if you had a 15, 20, 25 cent stock and you've been holding that preferred bag for a year, maybe longer, you might sell too. But then again, you might be in there. Or even better, you're like us. And it's not just 447 now. It's thousands of you. Maybe you did buy it at a nickel. Maybe you did listen to this imperfect, crazy-ass motherfucker that has been needling Doug and Jason nonstop for a year. I understand why they're mad at me. I get it. I expected it to be a tussle, but I didn't expect to hear what I did. My next question on the call was, and this is in no particular order, where do we stand with NASDAQ? And at this point, he's highly irritated with me, right? And he says, you're asking me questions I can't answer. You're asking me inside information. And I'm pushing back. I said, no, I am the guy who represents 10%. We're one of the largest shareholders in the entire world. You're not the largest shareholder. He kept saying that. That was his retort. Whenever I poked the bear, whether I was asking about how we got to 281 million shares, or have you heard anything back from fucking NASDAQ, it was always, you're not the largest shareholder. So that was pissing me off. How dare you fucking talk to a guy that was defending you when they had your mug shot on fucking StockTwits and they were saying you and your wife, who are getting sued, should belong in jail. I stayed away from that. I didn't get anywhere near that stuff. I believe in this company. I believe it's turning the corner. I believe, and you could see it, the pipeline's getting better. We're getting close to the smart window insert rollout, which, by the way, they bought from fucking Hewlett Packard. This is not some fucking pie in the sky. There's got to be IP value there. And they're digging ditches and laying pipe, or cable, excuse me, and supposedly going to be net income positive by the end of the year. That's all fucking bullish. So, Doug, even though you told me, and I'll share the exact words with everybody watching here in a second, to get rid of my stock, I ain't fucking going anywhere. And I might have to own 40 fucking million shares so I can sit around and wait for the release of the Crkn. Question number 3. When are we going to stop drawing down on the ELOC? Didn't get an answer there. And then, of course, question number 4, which just made matters even worse. When are you going to buy some stock? He didn't even answer me on that one. I've been bugging this guy for 6 to 9 months to put some skin in the game. Maybe he knew it was going to go to a nickel. Maybe he's waiting. Maybe he doesn't believe in the company. I don't think that's the case. I'm a fan. I'm not a fan of what he said. And it changes our fucking relationship unless you want to pick up the phone and apologize. And I doubt you're going to do that. But I will say this, Doug, before I tell everybody exactly what was said in the last 30 seconds. If you really feel that way, and I mean you really feel the way you said what you said, then you're not the man I thought you were. You're a fucking scumbag. And at this point, I refuse to believe that. So ladies and gentlemen, grab your popcorn. Here's what was said at the end of a very nasty call. Again, it's going back and forth. By the way, I keep getting, did you record the call? Why don't you play it? First of all, that's not my style. I would not record the call and put it out there. It would bury the stock. I'd be stuck with 40 million shares, potentially down at a nickel. I don't want to do that to him, you, me, or anybody. I'm bullish. I want to bend the naked shorts up the fucking ass, but it's not going to be without a fight, folks. 10 is the new 5, right? What is that? 10 and a quarter? 10 is the new 5. We based it a nickel. Now we're going to base it a dime. It depends on getting rid of the ELOC, going to a credit line. It depends on getting an extension from NASDAQ. It depends on putting some fucking skin in the game and buying stock in the open market like we are. Show the fucking world, Doug, what you're made of. Instead, and I might have a pronoun and a comma off here, but at this point, 2 minutes into the call, I'm furious. I keep hearing you're not the largest shareholder. And so I'm enraged that how dare you talk to a guy that's amassed thousands of people. You can't get your fucking stock to $1 organically without hundreds of millions of dollars of buying power brought in by this motherfucker right here. So I'm mad. He's mad. And all of a sudden he says, I want you out of the stock. Sell it all right now. Do it. You ever seen the Shia LaBeouf, however you pronounce it? Just do it. He did it 3 times. I said, is that the way you're going to talk to a guy who owns 30 million shares? I want you out of the stock right now. Sell every share you got. Do it. Repeated it a 3rd fucking time. I said, fuck this, and hung up on him. Now, I'd like to know from everybody in the comments, if the CEO in a company that you've been a bull on, that you made a fortune on the 1 turn, bought even more stock on the 2nd turn, talk to you that way, how would you feel? And again, let me repeat it nice and slow. I want you out of the stock. Sell all your shares, and that includes everybody that's inside of the Discord now. Do it. Do it. Do it. Click. Doug, if you want to sick your lawyers on me, that's fine. You want to have an open forum debate, maybe apologize to one another. I'm open to that because I'm as much of a prick as you are. And I do believe that both of us want what's best for the company and ultimately the shareholders who are long the stock. And I'd venture to say we'd all like to bend the fucking shorts over the desk all the way in. Don't forget the up, right? The last, ladies will tell you this, the last little and out the other side without any lube whatsoever. But in closing, you're probably sitting there. You may have gotten a chuckle out of that. I hope you did. That's the way I am. Before I tell you exactly what I'm going to do, which is what you should do, if you believe in what I'm trying to tell you, if you believe it's possible that we are 101 in the last 100 plus trades, shopsmallbiz.com. We are 90% sold out through the grace of God. Our business is grown by 50% in 2 weeks. We made about 5 times on our money in the Crkn. And as a result of the buy in the mid to high 9s, our average is 1090-ish. Last trade, 1034. So we've got 12% of the company at just about break even. And we ain't selling anytime soon. I don't give a fuck what he says. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. If you haven't figured it out, I'm tough as nails. And I can make and or keep you rich. Go to shopsmallbiz.com. Get a Discord if you don't have a small biz, premium if you do. shopsmallbiz.com before they are sold out. All right, what do? Well, it's simple. 10 is the new 5. We're going to base in and around 10 until we get more news, whether it's good or bad. So here's the deal. Keeping it simple, stupid. If he comes out with an announcement and explains why the float, and he's probably not going to do this, but if you want to get the stock cooking, you want to regain some credibility after this fucking video, which is 100% true, you come out and you say, we had a conversion of the preferred stock. And the reason it was repriced, and that is a ballsy move to say the reason, Doug, but you want to tell the truth? You had to avoid a legal problem? You wanted to reward loyal shareholders, insiders? Just tell us the truth. If it's not going to fucking put you in jail, just tell us the truth. And I don't want them there, believe me. The reason we did it is it was a conversion of the preferred. We're this close to drawing down no more on the ELOC. The pipeline's growing. We got another deal. That'll send the stock higher. We're stepping in, or we just stepped in. Can you imagine a file maybe tonight after hours? Maybe it's him that they flushed the stops and they pushed it back over 10. I don't know. And I'm not selling, Doug, in case you haven't heard. I don't give a fuck if it goes down to 8 where I think Max Payne is. I'm still not selling. And stick around, Debbie Downers, potential reverse split fucking clowns. I'll explain what happens if that's the case. So if he comes out and says we bought 10 million, 20 million, 30 million, there's your 15 to a quarter, just like that. And of course, last but certainly not least, if NASDAQ comes out and says, here's another 6 months. You've earned the right. You're over a dime. You've got a $35 million or thereabouts market cap now. Your pipeline is growing. We'll give you 6 months, call it to the end of the year to get up to $1 organically and stay there for 10 to 20 days. You know the rule. But let's say it falls apart. Let's say he said what he said, and I'm telling you the truth, folks. Guilty for poking the bear. I've never been told by a CEO or a senior exec, I want you out of the stock. Sell all your shares now. Do it. Never. Now, if he's trying to reverse psychology me because he wants the stock cheap, okay, fair enough. That's bullish. But if he doesn't give a fuck about shareholder value, he wants me and hundreds more just to sell their stock so he can do a big reverse split, then that's bearish. So if they don't stop drawing down on the ELOC, if they refuse to put skin in the game, if the pipeline doesn't grow, if the smart window insert biz, which again is from HP, one of the most iconic names in tech history, or the NASDAQ says, sorry, we're not giving you an extension, we're going down. We're at least going to 8 and we may break it. And by the way, last but not least, for all the fucking idiots that are living in your basement, no disrespect, if your mother is no longer with us, mine's in heaven too. Stop with the whole, have you seen the vote next month for the 150 reverse split? Don't you fucking clowns know that before you can go in and even ask NASDAQ, which again they did 3 weeks ago or thereabouts, you have to have a plan. And you got to call a proxy vote. And there was about a dozen things, including the repricing under a nickel of the preferred stock, which was just converted into common. They're not going to give you the extension unless you say, okay, here's our plan. If we don't get to $1 by the end of the year, given that you might give us an extension, we're going to call for a reverse split vote of up to. It didn't say 150. It said up to no more than 150. I believe the last one was 1 for 60 or 1 for 80. They're not obviously going to need, if let's say the stock is 12 cents when the jig is up, they're not going to need to do 150 and put it at 20 bucks. They don't need to do that. They might need to do a 1 for 50, a 1 for 20, a 1 for 70. You get the point. You have to go into NASDAQ with a plan that if we don't get there, provided you give us the extension, we are going to do a reverse instead of go the route of the pink sheets on the OTC. So until next time, always remember. And this includes you haters that keep dumping your fucking dog shit on my wall. We love you. And I hope you have a very happy and healthy Memorial Day weekend.